I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick-Nick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick-Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right, greetings and welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am your host, Maninsman. It's always a pleasure being with you to do these shows and to share worthwhile information as we cover sports, and today in particular football. I always want to tell us to stop and pause and give thanks for life. Every moment we're alive is a moment to cherish and to celebrate, to have our loved ones and to know that we have breath in our bodies. It's such a good thing. There are many who didn't make it today, and I want you to reflect on that just for a moment. The fact that we are in our right faculties and operating, and how the creator of all heaven and earth has done that for us. Without any effort, our hearts function this morning, not because we have some innate ability to cause it to do so, but because there's a greater power at work. And so we give thanks for that. And so we always want to do that because it's life. All right. We're going to talk about some important things that are happening in Jamaica. Two very distinguished guests. One has been with us before, a person that I respect highly because how he merged his faith with football, and he maximized his time playing the sport. He's maximizing his time leading the sport now at Ballers Academy, and he's not just building footballers but changing life. And he have with him someone from out of Spain, Xavi Tamirit. I hope I get the name correct. If not, I will have to pay a fine. I hope it's not too much, and it is in Jamaican dollars, because any other currency, I don't think I'll be able to afford it. So I'm going to invite them both to join me. Welcome, Mr. Virtue. And I think I will just go with Xavi because I'm used to that name playing at Barcelona and forget about the surname. The only surname of football I know from Spain is Cesc Fabregas, because he played for the greatest club before he left and played for some people who were blue. But let's not even go there. But welcome. So good to have you both this evening.
Hey, Manning, it's good to be here, and thanks for having us.
Wonderful. All right. So listen, I don't want to talk. I want to listen. I want to learn. I want to know what is happening. So, Mr. Virtue, you want to take the interview, and I'll just sit right here. But tell us what is happening, why Xavi would leave Valencia and be in Jamaica at this time. What is the agenda? you can just share with us what that is, what is going to happen, when, where, what it entails, and what is the long-term vision.
All right. Well, Xavi being in Jamaica is really a part of something that we've planned for a while now. Xavi came here some 10, 11 years ago when I hosted the Valencia Club Football international camps. We did it for 3 years, and we had some Valencia coaches, and Xavi was one of those coaches that came. And from then, I was impressed pretty much with his football knowledge and approach to the game. And we've kept in touch ever since then. Obviously, wanting him to come back to Jamaica was not an easy thing to do because of his schedule, and just life happens, and it didn't happen. But in July of this year, we took our team to Spain, and that was obviously building on this relationship that we had with TNGS Academy out of Valencia, Spain. And we had a 10-day training and played in a tournament over there with our U15 team. And that gave us an opportunity to start thinking about, our ability to travel and expose players, let them see what the next level is about. So training in a professional environment, being assigned professional coaches. It was very good for us as an academy. I reached out to Xavi, who, thank God, was in Spain. I was in Valencia, and he came, and we had a number of discussions and talks about just what's going on in his life, my life. We're very close friends, so it was more for us to just reconnect. And he just shared with me that he still has a passion and a desire to help, and he'd love to come back to Jamaica. And then he mentioned that he is probably going back into coaching. He took a break and was writing some books and just taking some time off. But he's possibly going back into coaching pretty soon. And once he gets back into that, it's going to be pretty challenging. So I came back home, and based on where we are as ballers, we're now celebrating 20 years. August 8th, 2002 was when I started ballers, and here we are some 20 years later. And I believe we need to take it to another level. I believe we need to be a little bit more deliberate and intentional around how it is that we're going to expose our players, our coaches, our parents to what, the developed countries are doing. And I then reached out to Xavi and asked him if he would be able to come, and trying to come here and understand the context in which we're working from. Our context is very different from Spain, and so it's hard for someone to help when you don't understand the context. And so he decided to come, and we've spent the last 2 weeks really just watching football, from Manning Cup to the Costa Cup to some Premier League practice games, some youth tournaments, so that he has a first-hand feel, other than the 10 years he was here, on what the challenges are. And the objective is really to help work on putting a plan together for ballers, and that is an 8-year plan, which is looking at our player pathway, looking at our approach to training, our own system and model of play, and with his expertise and experience as a professional coach, obviously I'm soaking up all the knowledge I can by just asking him questions around what that world is like. And in the absence of me physically being able to be in that space, I have the opportunity to be around him, to learn and to draw from him. So that's the background why he is here. And with just a few more days before he leaves, I asked him if he'd be prepared to do a lecture to benefit our Jamaican community, coaching community. Obviously, usually you have to pay big money for him to do these things, but he's very passionate about the game. He sees a lot of potential in Jamaica and Jamaican players. And he said that he prepared to do a 1-hour lecture on a topic that is very dear to him. So I'm going to allow him to probably share a little bit more about that. But on Wednesday at 6 p.m. at UTECH lecture theatre, room number 50, we're going to have a lecture with Xavi. And we're inviting all coaches, whether at the club level, academy, or school level. I think this would be something for one to come and learn, and to hear from someone who is in that experience. So that's why he's here, as a friend and a colleague in the game. It's an honor to have him with us, and I now share him over to you so he can share a little bit more of him, so you can ask him directly. He asked you to speak very slow, but He say his English is not that good, but I think it is better than maybe some of us. But yeah. So Manins, this is Xavi, and you can reach them directly. You're muted.
Uh, just to begin, let me see how slow I can go. You can tell me if I'm going too slow because I'm not used to of doing this. So I'm going to be basically measuring myself. But just on as it relates to you, Andre said you took some time off and you were working on some books. Um, are those football-based books? Are they out? And can you tell us a little bit about the books that you're working on or you have been working on, if they are already published?
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. First of everything. Um, yeah, I have wrote two books until now. I am preparing a third book, but I don't know if will be um, able soon because I am waiting for a new challenge, for a new destination in football. So to write a book require a lot of time. My second book it was done in 3 years, so I'm not sure. I cannot promise my third book, but yes, I have wrote my first book like in 2007 when I was 24 years old. It's called "What is Tactical Periodization?" It's in Spanish and also you can find in English. And my second book it was in 2013, and it's named Tactical Periodization versus or against Tactical Periodization, and it's also published in Spanish and English, so it's easy to find it in in internet, in Amazon, in all that kind of
Tactical, let me get that. Tactical periodization. So both books have the same name.
yeah.
So
But
it's like,
no. The first it's called "What is Tactical Periodization?" What is tactical periodization? And the second one it's called Tactical Periodization versus or against Tactical Periodization. And both of them are talking about a methodology of training that was created for the Portuguese Vitor Frade. He was my teacher. He is now 75 years old, or I cannot remember exactly the years. He is not working more in the university, but he's still improving that methodology of training. And yeah, it's a revolutionary way of training methodology. Um, and I just transmit his knowledge in my books.
okay. So let me make so first one is tactical periodization, and that's available on Amazon for those of you who are listening. And the second one is, which was done in 2013, is tactical periodization versus tactical preparation.
No. First one, it's called, the name is What is
What is
Tactical Periodization?
right?
This is
What
the name of the first one. And the second one, it's called Tactical Periodization versus Tactical Periodization.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
strange. It's something
Yeah,
strange.
yeah, that's why I had to. Right. So I was wondering if it is because I said versus. Uh,
It's
ad-
because that's
can you
because
expound on that? Can you
yeah,
explain
yeah,
that
yeah.
to us? Yeah.
That's because after writing my first book and after Mourinho started to have a lot of success with that methodology, so he practiced that methodology of training, and he started to win with Porto, with Chelsea, with Inter Milano. The methodology of training was starting to be famous, very famous around the world. and many people talking about it, but it's a very like I tell you, it's a very revolutionary understanding of the human being and of the training of football. So it's not easy. You need to go depth, not just stay on the surface. And many people were talking in conferences, in articles, in internet about it, but in a wrong way. So I I felt the responsibility of clarifier. Um, so, what is exactly tactical periodization? Because in the first book, it was more like an introduction of that methodology and why um, this teacher, that it was Vitor Frade, create that methodology. So the second is a clarification. I don't know if that word exists in English.
Yeah, yeah. I think it is more. You got more in depth in it in the second book, having seen some success from Marino using that methodology. So you basically got deeper in it, right? And that's the idea, right, Andrew? Right.
Yeah, I try to clarify what is and what is not, because many people was telling tactical periodization is this, and there were some wrong understandings. So I try to say no. What Vitor Frade is telling is that and not that. So, but yes, it's more depth and maybe it's more practical also book.
Awesome. That's the second one. Awesome. All right. So how, I mean, because Andre also said that because you saw the potential in Jamaica, and I know you have had Jamaicans there in Spain over the years they have come through because of the connection with ballers. How do you see this tactical periodization being used in the development of the players you have been exposed to in Jamaica? Or is it something that you think we need to do more to get the football in Jamaica to a place where there is a clear track of development for our players?
Well,
That's too long.
no.
It's clear.
I I feel like I am an ambassador of tactical periodization. No? So, but I don't want to say that the people needs to do that. It's a way. It's an understanding. Uh, it's a way of understanding the life, the human being, the football, and his training. But I don't want to say you have to do that is the best. So for me, of course, it's the best because it's my choose. It's what I choose. I try to choose what I think is the best, and I think can help a lot to develop football because in all the countries they are introducing that methodology of training, or in many places they are introducing. But to work in that way, you need to go depth in the theory, because if not, you can do many mistakes. But of course, I am here trying to share my experience, my knowledge, um, like trying to give another vision or give another ways, another possibilities for the people. I always say when you choose to do some way, you need to feel, you need to be impassioned with that way. If you don't feel impassioned, it's because it's not for you. Uh, and I always put the example of your couple. No, you are in a relation with someone, in a relationship, and maybe another one will not choose that girl or that boy for him, but um, for me is the best one. So I feel passion about that. I believe, I trust in that. So for that reason, I try to practice it and to transmit also, because I think it's so interesting. Has to is supported by neurobiologists, by many different areas of the knowledge that before maybe they were marginal, but today they are on the top. So I think it can help a lot for a new understanding of the football and the football player training.
Yeah. It is this tactical periodization, the Valencia way and also the Spain way in terms of development, and is this what has led to the success that we have seen the Spanish national team, the Spain national team had in recent years, going back to winning the World Cup and doing well in Euros? Even their female team is doing well, and they did well in the Euros. Is this a part of it? And you have seen like in Europa League and Champions League, the Spanish teams dominate for the most part, winning, and they're always in the semifinals. Is this a part of it? And if so, at what point did they begin to implement in Spain tactical periodization?
Well, that methodology of training, it was created for a Portuguese person.
Oh,
I told this the name is Vitor Frade, and after uh, some books like my book and Mourinho's success, of course, expanded around the world so fast. So uh, many people asking about that. I have been invited in many different countries for many different football federations like Italian, Polish. I have been in Poland, in Argentina, uh, giving um, Uruguay, Chile, like doing conferences and all that kind of things. And I think it's not just one reason to have all that success. It's many reasons together. For some years in Spain, the Spanish Football Federation and the clubs also, they uh, they planned many years ago away. So we have very good infrastructures. That is so important, very important. Facilities, good facilities. Spanish Federation and clubs. You can go in Spain in a small town, and there is a good pitch with good surface, uh, changing room, video room, doctors, everything. So I think it's based in a good uh, infrastructure and club structure. It's based also in a very good coaches formation from many years. Spain is, in my opinion, so good giving formation for coaches, for people who is in the university studying sports science, also developing
I'm not sure I understand that. I don't know if Andre, if one of you can explain. You said they're very good at giving formation for the
to the
coaches.
coaches. To the coaches.
Uh, what meaning the
So we have
farm?
a very good coaches formation, uh, coaches courses.
Oh, okay. So the federation provides coaching development continuously.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
and very good. The level is so high, and um, also they help to develop to all the towns, to all the clubs, programs to 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 develop young players. Like they create uh, assessorment to the clubs and the academies to develop their own model of formation. So we are like, it's not just one item, it's many items working together. So good facilities, good coaches, good structures, good models of formation for some years. And yes, with that, I think we achieve important level in international football. Of course, like you are saying, football, Spanish football teams, they won in the century 21 more titles, international titles, than all the other countries of Europe together. England, Italy, Germany, France, Portugal, Netherlands. Spanish teams won more titles than them in all the century 21, and this is not something aleatory. It's have many things behind.
Oh, whoa. All right, Andre, I want to ask you, right? Because there's so much information. Where are we in this whole process? You talk about good facilities, including playing surfaces, having doctors, video rooms, all right? You spoke about formation, which is coaching education, and the modules made available to the coaches, high quality. Then assessment of academies and clubs. Where are we? Jamaica in that process, and how this partnership will help to bring us closer to that place.
Yeah, I mean, we are growing. Maybe the pace at which we are growing is a little frustrating. There is change. There are pockets of and seasons and moments where some things are doing. We have a coaching school, we have coaching education that has started. More coaching courses are available. Um, our coaches are investing in themselves and going overseas and getting more information. There's more networking happening, more collaboration, but the pace in which it is happening, the world is obviously based on putting all these different pieces together, have been able to put these pieces together a lot quicker than we are. And I guess for me, I can't speak to the federation, I can't speak to the other things, but I can only speak for what is under my control, or my influence is looking at where you are and what you can influence. And for me, within Ballers, we recognize that we're committed to youth development, and that is what we've been doing. But I know that I can't be comfortable with what we are doing. There's still a lot of gaps. There's still a lot of areas of improvement. We're still always learning and always need to grow. And so that's what brought me to investigate, research, to connect, to collaborate with some persons outside of my current environment to understand what's happening. So TNGS in Spain is such. We've formulated an MOU with them on coaching education, coaching exchanges, tours and workshops and clinics for players either to go or for them to come here. And that is coming from our trip to Spain. Momentum with that is with Xavi being here to help to formulate a proper project that will connect with what they are doing. I'm impressed with the level of organization and structure that is around Portuguese or Spanish formation. And with that, I feel that is one of the areas that, for me as a model, I'd want to make sure it's influencing what we are currently doing. It doesn't mean that we're not having influences from US and England and so on, but this is currently where my support is. It's currently where I have the interest and the relationships to be able to look at some of those things. So part of that is we have to kind of take the limits off ourselves and realize that we have to put better emphasis on the infrastructure. The facilities that we have are just not going to help us to go to the next level. We can't all play at National Stadium and Sabina Park and the few good surfaces that we have are not sufficient for developing the game. And we are currently stopped because we don't have the finances. But I never ever want to make decisions. I'm a man of faith, so I'm not making decisions based on the money. But I'm so passionate in my about it, and I do believe that if you put the right things in place with the right people and reach out, which is what I'm doing. I couldn't pay for Xavi to be here. So if you can even understand that concept, but for him to be here and to share his knowledge and what he has experienced as a professional coach, I couldn't pay for it. I would stop and think, how am I going to bring someone with that quality to Jamaica? And you say, all right, I can't afford it, don't do it. But out of relationship, communicating over years, he is prepared to come here, and we're able to benefit. The academy is able to benefit, and hopefully the rest of some other Jamaican coaches can benefit as well from that. So it's the same thing. Sometimes you have to move first. I believe in the beginning of the year, I felt really inspired that the Lord was saying, if you don't step out and if you don't speak, nothing is going to happen. And in so doing, I'm very hopeful, and I'm going to speak it into being that we will have a proper football surface for the academy, that we'll have the things that the academy needs. So my question to Xavi is, in a professional environment, what are the areas, the elements that are needed to be in academy, from your doctors to your physios to your training room to your video room to your analysis room? And right now, there's no limit in the dreaming. So he's telling me what he sees and what he has experienced, and I'm saying, okay, let's put it on paper. So if somebody walks and asks me what I need, I have it ready to give them. So this is just the posture that I'm in. As a result of that, I'm pulling my coaches and myself towards that next level of recognizing we need to look at what the world is doing and realize that what we are doing in Jamaica, though we have had our measures of success, it falls very short in relation to what is happening around the world. We don't have players going and playing in the top 5 leagues of the world every single year. We might have a one-name player every 5 years that breaks in, but we don't have no consistency in it. So we have to look back at our coaching. We have to look at what we're doing, how we're doing what we're doing. And that is why Xavi is here. He's working with me to try and make sure there's a deliberate attempt in how it is that we are identifying and preparing coaches, how it is that we are putting our training in preparing our training sessions, and does those training sessions fit into a philosophy or a model of play that all the academy is working on, so that you have that buy-in from everybody. I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of Jamaica, but I know I speak to other colleagues who have the same heart and same desire. So I'm going to step out, and hopefully by doing that, it will also help others to do the same. And it means that we have better competition, better coaches, better players, and it then attracts other people to want to see Jamaica more than just a participating team, but that we are going to compete at the highest level in the highest tournaments. And as a result of that, this vision of seeing Jamaica, contributing and making a difference on the world stage will not just be a wonder. 2026 World Cup is 4 years away, and Jamaica has no reason why we should not be in that World Cup and not to participate, but to do. So there's work that needs to be done. I'm just playing the part that I can play.
It is a blessing, and probably a blessing that the sabbatical for Xavi is finished and he's going to go back to coaching, because he should have spent it in Jamaica. I think that would have been ideal. But one of the things that he said, and you alluded to it, Andre, it's about the what even in the smallest space in Spain, the structure looks like, the video room, the doctors, and all of those things. And it starts with vision. Everyone has sight, but not everyone has vision. And you have to begin to visualize that. And like I said, write it down, put it on paper. All right. And then from there, you put figures that mean numbers to it, and then slowly, like I said, when someone say, what do you want to move from where you are to where you ought to be, you already have that down. And I think the input of Xavi is very key to that. Your friend Andy Williams is saying that, I hope you see that. I'm not going to read it out because you know, and you don't want me to read it out, but I know you
can. If it's Andy, you can read it. Anything my brother say, you can read it.
Sure.
Yeah, man, you can read it.
So it says, vote Virtue to be the next GFF president. So
Respect by my dog. And then I go far away. So love him. I'm virgin for life. So
yeah, man.
it's amazing. The reality of it is, and I think this is noteworthy that, sometimes we believe we have to lead from, well, we think leadership is about a position or a title. Andy, Tyrone, Wulde, Shevar are persons who have come through our system and are coaching and are doing extremely well. And they are contributing to the development of the game as well. They always would want to help and have always offered to help. So, each of us, Gregory Simmons, Trevor Spencer, Roger Thomas, I mean, these are names of people that I played with and have full respect for. And they are doing what I am doing in Jamaica, they're doing in another part of the world, but it doesn't say that we're not making a difference, right? So, yes, there is the Jamaican national team and we all want to do it, but we live in a global world and you kind of have to realize that you have generations waiting and we can't afford to miss another generation waiting on the JFF or waiting on the powers to be to make the difference. So while we can make a difference with whatever we have in our hands, we're going to do that. So you look out for more collaborations, more networking, because we are not prepared to sit down and just watch things crumble. We want to make and we're not getting political in it. It's just that football is a global game, and there are thousands of ways that people willing to help. And this is one example of just a willingness to make a difference and invite. And he's here and has a love for the country and willing to share his experience. So we're hoping that others can benefit from it.
All right. Xavi, back to you. What can people expect tomorrow when they for that hour? Because I mean, just talking to you, we're almost at an hour, and there's so much that you said in the 10 minutes, right? So, what are you going to do in an hour? Um, you know, that the people will be satisfied that whoa, it is so much, and you feel like I have covered enough in the short time, because it is a very short time. This seems like it need an entire day lecture with breaks and lunch and breakfast and dinner and some rest time and some small groups and some question and answer. But what can people expect tomorrow?
Well, the only thing I can promise is that I will be involved 100%. I will put my knowledge to share it with anyone, uh, and with everywhere. I don't everyone. I don't know how to say. Sorry. I will put my passion, trying to share what are my experiences, what is my knowledge, and I cannot promise more than that, but um, I'm sure it could be a great evening for all of. For sure, um, I will be better after that lecture. So I hope also the assistants can be a little bit better after that.
Shavi, can you just tell him the topic of your presentation tomorrow, and maybe you can just share a few words about it.
Yeah, I am going to speak about the specificity on training based in the model of play. So I will talk about how to create a model of play from an idea of play, and how to train uh, in a specific way of this style of football.
Okay, so it's really how to create a model of play from an idea of play, and how to
Yeah,
treat.
yeah,
Yeah,
because for me, one thing is the idea, and the other thing is the model. So the idea of play is something more like uh, platonic. It's the kind of football you would love to play, and it's your idea of play. But when you go in a context, you need to adapt your idea to that context, to that culture, to that football players with some specific characteristics and conditions. So one thing is the idea, and another thing is the model. So I say, me, like a coach, I have my idea of football, but when I am involved in a reality like Jamaica, uh, this idea needs to be adapted to that reality. So from there is when I start to build that model of play, and um, so after I have that model like an intention, we need to train it specific.
Okay, that makes sense. So, in other words, a coach will giving advice or lecturing on, yes, I have an idea, but if the players can't do that, how do I use play in the context? Do I have an idea? How do I still maximize the context that I'm in? What is that module that I'm going to use? Even though I may not get to the ideal, I can still have success and get them to play a particular way by a particular way of training. I want to make sure that I'm understanding. But
You have to come to the seminar,
no,
boss.
You are invited tomorrow.
yeah, this is what I was going to ask you. Is it going to be streamed, or you have to be in the lecture hall? Are
Yeah,
you,
it's in person.
oh,
Obviously, we know that it could be taped and streamed, but I do have to respect Xavi as a professional coach. It is actually his livelihood and what he does. So the fact that he's prepared to share for
yeah,
2 hours without it being recorded, I have to respect that. I'm hoping that we can do more, but this is what he was willing to do, and I have to respect that. So
I have a great idea. You know, without vision, the people perish, and we ain't gonna perish, right?
yeah,
So maybe what we can do, because there are Zoom platforms where multiple persons can be on. So maybe like a follow up to this after you do the registration of the person, and then I don't know, maybe there is a fee that we pay because it is a Zoom platform and it has to be paid for. Then persons can get the link and attend, and maybe down the road, maybe the next time. So we don't have to wait until what, 8 years,
10.
10 years. Yeah, yeah. We don't want to wait 10 years to do this again. So maybe we can. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Is this something that we could be yearly, even if it's not in person, but it is done in a Zoom where it is not just out there on the World Wide Web per se, where people can access it for free, but it
Yeah.
is in a format where it is in a closed format, invited people, and there is a contribution towards it. Can that
Yeah,
work until there's a next face to face?
the reality, Xavi is one person of thousands who we can position ourselves to be able to be in environments where we can learn.
Yeah.
Xavi is maybe a day, 2 days, maybe a week or a month away from taking up his next coaching assignment, which makes it a little challenging for that to happen. So while I have him, I'm taking advantage, but thinking about it in a much more general, plus reaching out to more, it's how do you take advantages of mixed learning, how blended learning, how do you take advantage of it? And we've been doing it out of the pandemic. We're doing a lot more Zoom, a lot more stuff. So I have no doubt that Xavi, like many other coaches, we can be able to do. I'm just at a place where at the end of Xavi's visit, and I think it would be very beneficial to a Jamaican coach to be able to hear from him and to be able to draw from what he's sharing, to reflect on it and say, is this something that I can adopt? Is there element of what he's saying I want to research and know more? And that's just the life of a coach. You're constantly learning and growing. You can see it being modeled in the top leagues, and then you start to know, and that might be the start or it might be continuing, because there are many coaches who are thinking this way, but maybe there are other reasons why they can't probably put it in place, they don't have the support. But if we have more coaches thinking a particular way, committed a particular way, then the change that we want to see is not too far. So again, I'm not saying there's a no. Who is to say Xavi is not back here soon? Who is to say that we don't have other coaches coming? But let's just work with what we have for sure. And he's here until Saturday. So
all right, we're gonna get the definitely. We're gonna get the details now in terms of when you start, what time people need to get there, be seated by, and stuff, what they need to take. Maybe you can, but so that's one question, and the second question is I've heard this a lot, Xavi, that Jamaica has probably the best raw talent in the world when it comes on to soccer, right? I mean, I'm not as traveled, but I'm not convinced that we do. But people speak of our athletic ability, which include our speed and all of that. You have had some experience. What do you make of our ability, and are there advantages we have in terms of our players that if we were to apply proper coaching from the or better coaching from the grassroots, we could be producing more high quality individual, even though we may not win the World Cup as a nation?
Yeah, I'm sure about that. Here you have a lot of potential, and the only thing is the environment. You don't have maybe the environment, like we don't have in Spain environment for another things, because some countries are stronger in some things, and other countries are stronger in another things. So um, I have no doubts that Jamaicans can be Jamaican players, football players, can be playing around the world in the best teams. No doubt. Just need maybe to improve a little bit the environment where they are developing. So like we say, facilities, better structure, better competition, better coaching, better everything. It's it's difficult to create an environment if you don't have facilities. No, we were talking many times how I can bring a coach, an international coach, to come here with this infrastructure. It's difficult. It's difficult. How can create a tournament inviting the best teams on the world with 15 years old? It's difficult without facilities, because the teams don't want to come. So I am sure that with a better environment, you don't have limits. Sure, this is sure. So I hope to see in the next years Jamaican players around the world, national team playing the World Cup. I hope, and I will be happy that I put my small part on that, trying to help. But yeah, I'm sure everything it's about the environment and the limitation on here also. No, I always say that you believe that the next most speed person in the world can be Jamaican, because you have an history, you have success in that, so you don't have limits in your head about that. Like Argentinians, they think the next Messi is going to be in Argentina, and they trust in that. And they think if Maradona, if Messi, they were the best, why I cannot do it if I am born in the same place, training in the same place? So it's just to create a better environment and to start to believe that you can do it.
I've never heard this is the first time. People forgive me if I am naive. Andrew Edwards is saying, great initiative, Andrew. You are a real trail blazer. That's Coach Andrew Edwards.
let's up, coach.
Yeah, I've never heard this before, and it has just given me so many things going off in my head that to invite some of the best teams in the world to come to Jamaica to play in a tournament can be difficult because the environment is not the best to get the coaches to come. So the environment, which is the infrastructure, the surfaces, not just the field, but the all the facilities, including changing rooms and medical personnel being available. I think that is what Xavi is saying, right? The environment needs to improve, and if the environment improve, then we can attract high quality coaches coming and being a part of the development and high quality teams coming to play tournaments. Am I getting it right?
You're correct.
I never thought about it from that.
The,
Um,
the, the reality, Manning, is that, even for us, and he mentioned it in terms of competition, like if we're not competing, our Manning Cup players are our best 18 and 19-year-olds, and they play 20 games for the year. And they're going to leave and they're going to play for Jamaica in an under 20 World Cup, and they're going to play against Mexico, USA. And all of those players at 18, 19 are professional players. They know what it is to get up in the morning to train. The eating is different, their recovery is different, their exposure is different. And that environment every single day shapes the player. Now we don't have those environments here. So even in those environments, we have those challenges. So we have to go outside of Jamaica to go and find it to help our players. That is why we have practice games. That's why we have these games for our national players. But it can be when they reach 19. It can be when they reach 21. So even our under 15s when they go, or under 17s, they struggle in those environments because it's not what they do every day. So the point is the environment does help to shape those things. So we have to be very deliberate around it, and to understand that Jamaica is not a difficult sell. Our culture is beautiful. People want to be around our culture. Our food is amazing. Our people are very loving and caring, and people want to come. And yes, there's crime and so on, but people still come here. The only thing is you can't tell a quality 15-year-old team to come to Jamaica and play on the surfaces that we have, because his future is football. So if him injure himself, what are you going to say? Oh, I'm sorry. It don't work that way. So people are not going to come and be a part of those kind of environments unless they are sure that there is the surfaces and the environments around are equal to or even better than what exists. And I don't know why as Jamaica we should think anything less. So that's just it.
yeah. All right, we're going to close shortly because we're on the hour mark. Unless you guys want to stay, but
No,
yeah.
we'll have to go.
All right.
So the last two questions I will have to
Yeah,
cut. Sorry.
we're not even, but this is just tying into what you say. Oh,
Sure.
because it's not just physical environment; it is a professional environment where, like I said, the kids learn certain disciplines, eating habits, attitudes in terms of towards training, taking care of your gears. Now, how important are these things, Xavi, to the development of a footballer who aspires to be at the highest level, attitude, professionalism, and discipline. All right, and getting that in the Jamaican culture, because I think as a Jamaican, it's one of our areas of struggle, or our attitude towards the game. Um, and let me just give you a quick example, and then Andre, I wanted to close out by telling us what is going on in terms of what time people are supposed to get there, and then we close. But recently on my trip, the kids at 18, they play for a club, and they have to drive to the games, and they drive to training, and no one is giving them any money. They turn up on time, they go to the games on time, they buy their gears except for the jersey, right? um, because they want to be professional. In our culture, the dynamics are a little different. So our kids expect you sometimes to give them bus fare to come to and from training, to call and remind them what time to come out. So I'm putting that in there because I want to find out how important is developing the right attitude, the discipline in all areas, and being in a professional environment, including the support staff. And we end on those two things.
First of, of uh, first of all, I don't want to forget to say something. that is for me really important. We cannot adapt kids to football. We need to adapt football to kids. We need to see what is happening around us, and we need to understand that today, 2022, is totally different to 30, 40 years ago. Kids are not playing more on the street like before. Before we were playing all the time, everywhere. So we had a lot of hours of experience and we have a lot of play. I want to remark that word, play, because play is something so important for the human being, like an individual and like to create a society. And today, kids are not playing more. Um, they are they have a lot of hours in the school. They have extra curricular uh, school activities, everything always with an adult telling them the rules, what to do, what not to do. And we need to understand that. Before, we played a lot and we went to the academies to train. But today, the academies needs to understand that they are not playing more out. We cannot continue doing analytic exercises. We cannot continue giving them something very different uh, of the play. We cannot continue training them like before, because before we had the balance. We give them something that is not very attractive, but they play out of the academy a lot of time. And today they don't have this. So we cannot continue training on the same way, because around the world, the abandonment premature of the sport is so high right now. And this because they love football. They love to play football, not to do exercises decontextualized of football. We are like a coaches, we are saying, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. So that's really, really important, in my opinion. And before 11 years old, we need to to revise what are we doing. We need to analyze what are we doing, and we need to adjust this. Kids from 6, 7, 8 years old cannot play 11 against 11 because they touch the ball 2 times sometimes per match. So we need to analyze what is happening around the world. They play 3 against 3, after they play 5 against 5, after 7, 7, 9, 9, 11, 11. We need to adapt football to kids as the same that we adapt mathematics or history to the kids. We don't teach the same for the kids with 7 years old, 5 years old, than for the kids of 17 years old. So we need to think on that. I don't want to finish that interview without put emphasis on that. The importance of play in the human being, and we are losing that play. Today we have obesity, a lot of obesity on kids. We have kids that are depression, anxiety, things that when I was kid, I never listened before. I had no any friend with depression, with anxiety, with nothing of that. And we need to think what is happening with our development, like countries, no? So it's very, very important.
Yeah, people, if you want, okay, go ahead, because I'll go tell them that if they want more, they have to turn up tomorrow at what, 6?
They do have to turn up tomorrow.
Talk to them. Give them the final
So,
invitation, because if you miss these people, you're losing a screw, right?
yeah, so
If you're going to miss football, so go ahead.
we've partnered with UTECH through their Faculty of Sports Science and Caribbean School of Sports Science as well, to host this lecture tomorrow, Wednesday, the 7th of September at 6 p.m. It's going to be a 2-hour lecture. The format will be, it's open to everybody. There's no charge, there's no fee to pay. It's just registration through our Instagram page. And then he will just be sharing on this topic. The intention is for him to share, and then for us to have some question and answers. Some questions that we've already collected from some coaches that would help to talk about some other areas that were not necessarily covered in the presentation, but we'll give some information to the persons that are there. And just to encourage persons to come out. There's no fear in learning. There's no fear in coming to an environment to really learn and for us to network, and to create a community as coaches that really wants to help to develop the game. We can point fingers, but at this point, this is not a pointing finger. It's just trying to do the best that we can do with the opportunity before us. So I invite persons to come out and be there. I think there are some 75 people registered so far. So with that,
you have to register on the Instagram.
Correct.
On the Ballers
Academy.
Right, Instagram handle. That's where you go.
And the registration is very simple. We're asking for your name, your number, email address, phone number, and what association or affiliation, whether it's a club or school or an academy. And that is coming to your point. If we're able to do something like this again, we have information to share to everyone so that they can get access to it.
So it's at the Faculty of Sports Science, University of Technology,
Yes.
6 tomorrow, Wednesday, the 7th of September, right? 2 hours. All you have to do is to go to Ballers Academy, the Instagram handle, and register. Name and what you're connected to in terms of coaching, school, club, whatever. That's basically
lecture room 50, lecture room 50.
Lecture room 50.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else they need to know?
No, a lot of what we're able to do here, I do have 2 sponsors in Digicel and Sagicor who kind of continues to help us to believe in the vision. And so something like this is made possible through them, believing that it's not just the on-the-field things we have to work on. So powers to them, powers to big ups to UTECH and their Faculty of Sports Science for allowing this to happen. And, looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. All
right. Thank you so much, Mr. Virtue. And I will say, Xavi, not Iniesta people, all right? But thank you so much. And I hope your love for Jamaica continues and you keep on pouring knowledge into the football in Jamaica so we can be better. We live to learn and we learn to live. And so we are grateful for your insight that after your sabbatical, before you take on your next assignment, you saw it fitting to come to the beautiful island to share with the beautiful people. And we say love for the love, and all the best. And I hope Jamaica turns out too much. How many persons you want there, Mr. Verti? 500?
The lecture room can hold 200, so just go with it. It's not about the numbers, to be honest with you. It's just about the coach who wants to learn. And so if that's you, then come on out.
Yeah, and all of these people, when we talk to Adrian alone, we talk about presidency. Everybody asking about you. He's the president of his faith right now.
Sure. Big up, Obama.
Bob is upset, and he probably sitting there laughing right now, because you see everybody piggybacking on the comment, But thank you so much, and get some rest. And tomorrow, all the best up there for the lecture up by UTECH. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you for the invitation, and I am learning a lot here in Jamaica and growing like a person. So that's so important for me. So I'm very thankful also to Andre, who invites me to have that experience.
All right, wonderful. I hope he has brought you to the North Coast, and taken it to Plantation Smoke House before you go, and Dunn's River, I mean, you need to see the beauty of the North Coast, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You just need a Jamaican wife, done him good.
I am.
What's
I
up,
am.
man?
I am
Yeah, that,
open. I am open
yeah,
for extending my trip if the
yeah.
invitation is good.
But Sir Bertie, you should have brought him down to Plantation Smoke House. We can something can happen, in a nice, cool
All right, my boss.
partial sentence. So we need to work out something because this look like a plan.
All right, my boss.
Because people, I speak this. Listen, Ballers is going to be in center. I just feel that somewhere, somehow, one day you go see Ballers in center because I can't drive pay toll come up to Kingston every evening to play some ball, man. We need one down here. So,
All right, boss. We'll make it happen, yeah?
absolutely.
All right, my boss.
Yeah, man. All right then.
Respect.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.
All right, so there you go, people. On the Andre Virtue, and we had Xavi here as well. Wonderful discussion. Hope you'd have learned something. They made themselves available, and we had to do this. We put off a couple of our shows because it's very important that we had this conversation. Listen, if you are a coach or you know a coach, tell them to go and get the knowledge, to learn, to listen. Don't believe you know it all. Put off the training session and go. Put off the DaCosta Cup training, the Manning Cup training, the club training. Go and get the information. It's better you have it and don't need it than you need it and you don't have it. All right. Listen, these are the kind of stuff that sometimes we don't get the hundreds of persons in the live chat. We don't have the hundreds liking and sharing it, but it is all right. It's not about the numbers. It's about the information and the fact that this is being shared. Some very important thing about tactical periodization, you know. Um, so I'm grateful for all of you who came on and stayed, right? So please, as usual, hit the like button, subscribe if you have not yet, and also share the content. Tell somebody else about this. All right. I hope we get the 200 coaches up there tomorrow, though. We need to turn up. Coaches. At school administrators, if you're listening, please get your coaches to go. Club owners, get your coaches to go and be a part of this. Be a part of this. All right. I am Management. This has been the evening interview. We have our Diamond League preview coming up. Unseen Sport, listen, if you need to go talk to me, if you need fear, bus fear, whatever, I will get you there. You need to go there so you can learn some of these things. You understand me? Listen, if you're a coach and you have some transportation issue, see the number there, dial it. We'll ensure that we can give you some funds to go there. We will do that. All right. We will help some coaches to go there because these things are important. If you're a coach and you can't find the funds to travel up there, we'll help you. Right? We will help you. So thank you so much. All right. Appreciate every single one of you. Eagle Republic, you see, you pressure me. You pressure me, and look, it has happened. You see that? I didn't want to say it, It must be a surprise. So bless up. Yeah, man. Unseen is a good youth. So if Unseen wants to go, he knows that he will call me and let me know. All right. Our Uber, whatever it is, man, we'll help them out. All right. So big up again. Listen, check out the books, right? He did a book in 2007. It's on Amazon. It's called What is Tactical Periodization? And the other one he did in 2013 is Tactical Periodization versus Tactical Periodization. So those books are available on Amazon. You can go and check them out. Yeah. What if your foot is broken? You can still take taxi effectively. You can still go in vehicle even if you have a broken foot. You go sit down anyways. What you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what that means. But bless up. I'm going to have to run out of here because the track and field people are anxious to come on to talk about the big Diamond League and preview that with Pioneer. So bless up one and all. And I know people have been beating me. All right, I promise you Friday, I'm going to give you a picture of the coach with I'm going to give you a picture of the coach, his name, and hopefully he will be in an aeroplane heading to Jamaica or in Jamaica. So don't worry, be happy. I promise you that on Friday, I'll give you a lot of information. All that you need to know concerning the coach. And one thing I'll say is that person is not the coach, Big Deal Len. He's not. All right. He's not. But on Friday, I promise you, you will get the information. But that's not the name. All right. And believe me, that's not the name. All right. So bless up. This is I Am Sure Sports. I am Man in His Man, and we are over and we are out as we'll be going on shortly to our track and field show with the Diamond League preview with Pioneer and his crew.
Yo, watch about dog, SK New Air this. The body out there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, we cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Ocho-Rios, Galtigo Bay. Everywhere. I Am Sure Sports. Check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like? Ha! Yeah, someone on for the food from young, from where they need height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.